What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm here with Tanner Plains, who in the last year has made $986,000 selling courses. And I'm bringing him here to ask him, one, how he did it, two, is he a scam, and three, if he were to recommend for you to do something, how he would recommend for you to get to the same level that he's at. So without any further ado, Tanner, welcome to the channel. Introduce yourself for the people.
Thank you for having me. My name's Tanner. I'm an e-commerce entrepreneur. I started my first e-commerce store, sold my first product online in 2017 when I was just a little 16-year-old pipsqueak waddling his paddles. Now I'm 22 and you're asking me the hard-hitting questions, it sounds like.
That's what we're gonna do today.
Good, let's do it.
Yeah, so kind of for people that don't know you, give us like the briefest background, because I know you don't want to go crazy into it. You have a ton of videos on your channel that kind of talk about that story, but you know, for people that haven't known you from the time that you were a 16-year-old pipsqueak to now a full grown-ass man who's made almost $1 million in the last year, what did we miss?
There is a lot, but to summarize it, and the most important parts is, at a young age in middle school, I saw someone who was successful, saw a Ferrari for the first time, an old one, but it was a Ferrari, and he had this warehouse where he would work every day, and it just looked like so much fun to not have to work for somebody and to seem like he's making more money than every other adult I know, and he gets to have fun. Why can't I do that? And that's when I decided that's what I wanted to do. So, you know, started off with the typical lawn mowing, leaf raking,
Yep.
into then
Been there.
social media started coming up. Vine, the old version of TikTok in a way.
Mhm.
I had got an iPad mini for Christmas one year, used that to grow themed accounts like highlights, you know, where you couldn't upload anything from your camera roll. I would have to like hold it up and like try and balance like recording, like playing a video on my computer, like record the screen, and the music, the beat drop. And we get paid to reshare people's stuff. Then to Instagram, selling shout outs. And then it got to a point where we have companies like FitTea who are paying for shout outs consistently. And we figured, hey, if they're buying consistently, they should be making money. So why can't I do the same thing? And that's when I got into e-commerce. And more specifically, I started drop shipping physical products from overseas. And to summarize that entire journey from then to where I am now, the biggest change that occurred that's brought me more success and positivity and just life in general has been just transforming the person who I used to be to who I am now.
Okay. Got it. So did a bunch of e-commerce stuff and then kind of taught so obviously you have this course now, done almost $1 million in the last year. How did you come up with the idea to start the course? And then how do you go from there's an idea for a course to now almost $1 million in a year? What does that actually look like? What is the process?
It looks interesting. I've been documenting my journey on YouTube since I was 16 years old, so I've naturally kind of built a little bit of an audience sharing the things that I'm doing. And, you know, there's been points where I've gotten good numbers doing something. People want to know how. They say, make a course. So that's how I first made a course all the way back at the end of 2017. And it was really shitty, but it made money. And I was just like, it just introduced me to that. And I didn't do it for a while, but as I amassed more skills, did more cool things, it got to a point where last year in 2022, I said, look, I've been kind of behind the shadows for some time now. I was kind of going through some rough times of my own, where I was making money with some e-com stuff, but it wasn't going as planned. I was kind of a nasty person myself, all fat and sloppy and not a great person in my eyes. And, you know, I said, hey, I've started changing my life. I've gotten some great results doing some different things. And I want to share that. I'm going to document it. I have my audience. And that's when, at the beginning of last year, I had this idea to start a Facebook ads course. It's something that I knew I was good at and wanted to share. And I spent all this time and effort building this video course, to put it out only for it to flop completely. And it was because I wasn't listening to what the market wanted. I just had an idea that I thought was good, but I didn't validate it, put all this time and effort into it, and it flopped. So rewinding a little bit, I shut down all my physical dropshipping stores during COVID because a lot of issues that were going down. I said, okay, I'm not doing this again. And that's when I started venturing a little bit more into digital products, selling them anonymously, helping some people do that using my past e-commerce experience. And, after some time, I heard this concept from my buddy George. He was talking about digital drop shipping, and he was explaining it in a way that was more about services. And it just kind of sparked my mind into, okay, I think this would be very interesting for people to hear about digital drop shipping and how I do this. Like, how would I do that and put it together in a format that anyone can understand? And that's when I had this idea. I validated it by making a YouTube video because I'd started a store, and I posted this YouTube video titled, I tried dropshipping digital products for 30 days, and got way more views than my other videos were getting. People were interested, so I made a wait list and spent a month making the best courses possible. And even to this day now, people still use it to get great results.
So you're selling the same course you made a year ago. You haven't had to change it at all.
I made it over a year ago.
Yeah.
So the fundamental strategies have remained the same. I structured a way where it's 4 weeks you go through, starting out week 1, like choosing the niche, creating the unique value proposition, product. Week 2, setting up everything. Week 3, marketing. Week 4, scaling, marketing, decision making,
Yep.
and all these different things that are a piece. Like those fundamentals will never change. Like when it comes to building an e-commerce store, it's always niche, product, design, and marketing. Like no matter what changes, those are always going to remain the same.
Right.
So the things we have adjusted are more so like in the way we do our support and the way we put out like new challenges and new materials.
So you make the course. How do you go from like, I got the course, cool, you kind of made it. Obviously you did the Facebook ads course before, validated this one before you made the course, you had the wait list. How much did you sell when you launched?
So I did a VIP wait list. I think I launched this thing for I think it was $197, like if you're on the VIP wait list.
Yeah.
And
I think I bought it for $197 or $297.
yeah, you were you were early on.
Yeah.
I believe it was $197, and I remember like the first couple of days it did I believe it was over $5,000 total. And I had only like a couple hundred people on the wait list or the VIP list, and I mean, I just proved my concept. It's not the most amount of money in the world, but it's like, okay, there's a demand for this. Like this is the first time people are hearing the word of digital drop shipping.
Yeah.
So it was pretty exciting.
Do you remember how much you sold?
I don't remember exactly the first, I did it for a couple days before I raised the price.
Yeah.
Like if you were on the email list, you got the special link, and it did $5K the first couple days.
Okay. So 5K in the first couple of days. And then how do you start marketing this course over the following months and weeks and whatever to get from, where you were to now months later doing 80, 90K a month?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because I didn't really know what I was doing. I at first tried just using my past e-commerce experience at straight ads, everything very businessy, and I just wasn't enjoying it. So I instead kind of went this route where I'm just going to share my life. I'm just going to post content, and this is a product I have. It's about a skill set that I've amassed, and here's the results I've gotten doing it. And this is my life, and this is what I'm doing. If you want to learn it too and become a part of this community, you absolutely can. And at this time was very pivot. Is that a word? Pivotal, yeah. Pivotal for me because I had spent the last year plus, almost 2 years, trying to get in shape and change my life from having these negative vices and bad habits of drinking, smoking. And these were all things that were weighing me down. These bad habits were attached to my thoughts, my actions, my relationships, and into my businesses and the results. So I fought for a long time figuring out how to get rid of those things, become a better person. And throughout that year, and especially right when I was building DDM, was when I was focusing the most ever on personal development. I was, for the first time ever, no carbs at all, literally only eating meat and fish. Carnivore diet. Yeah. That's it. And this was the first time ever in my life where I actually, for the first time in my life, got in shape, had some abs. I mean, I was pretty fit. I was 140 pounds, but I was holy shit. I never had that type of confidence before. And I realized that same habits I used to do that, the same habits that apply to business, it's discipline, consistency, and I'm just going to keep posting content about it every day.
Mm-hmm.
How I changed as a person, how that helped me just get clear on my vision and my business and everything else I'm doing. And that's really just how I started marketing it. And, videos start to go viral here and there. That brings in new eyes, new attention, and new results for my businesses, my students' businesses. And it's just continuing to build momentum.
Pause. Make sure this is still rolling. I got film.
Oh, I can see it in the mirror. It's recording.
Oh shit. You're so smart. All right, so Tanner, I want to dive a little bit deeper on this because what you just said was really interesting. It sounds like you didn't really do like any marketing for the course because, like, if we rewind, I asked you, how did you go from launching a course to doing $1 million? And then you basically kind of went on this whole, tangent, not in a negative way, but tangent on how you were drinking, smoking, eating bad food, whatever. And then basically you just started the carnivore diet, filmed it, posted you working out, improving your life, and then all of a sudden courses started selling. Is that what you just said?
I get it could kind of sound like that, but I'd spent like the last 2 years like trying all these things and having this yo-yo effect. Like, I'm going to cut out sweets, or I'm going to cut out this, or I'm only going to eat this many calories, or I'm going to do 100 pull-ups a day or 100 push-ups a day. And just all these things that would, work temporarily, and then I'll just go back to bad habits, et cetera. And it's not really working out. So it wasn't until I really went all in was when I had that, like, a massive change, like at least with my physical body.
Right.
Because that was the thing that I always struggled with the most was my physical body, my confidence because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first thing I had to change. And so that pretty much just made where at the point where I launched DDM and created it even was a time where for the first time ever in my life, like as a conscious adult, is fully clear in my mind and what I'm doing with nothing else distracting me. I'm confident. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. Got nothing to hide. I'm just here. This is what I'm doing. And over time, that just allowed for me to create better content, do better things, impact more people. And course sales are kind of a byproduct of all of the views and attention.
Interesting. So basically just documenting the journey of like living a lifestyle that other people aspire to live because maybe they're stuck in that yo-yo effect. They were just attracted to the consistency that you were putting in and then wanted to find out what you were doing. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah, for the marketing of a course, it's interesting. I've done all the different things. Like I still run some ads. I do webinars occasionally. Like whatever traditional marketing. I don't do sales calls or like setting, that kind of thing.
That still blows my mind because I've been on so many sales calls.
All of our sales are like through messages.
His like chat flow that he showed me the other day, like it looks like a freaking spider web. I don't know how long that took you to make, but that's probably one of the most impressive things I've ever seen when it comes to like selling a course.
Yeah.
All the mini chat flow is insane.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But you're saying that stuff is like not really what people should be concerned about when they're doing.
No, not at all, because that only matters when you have a massive influx of people. Like in the last 2 days, I've probably gotten like 2,000 to 4,000 DMs that if I had to go through every single one manually and like just ask those beginner like qualifying questions or just starting the conversation, it takes forever. If I have 3,000 people say, hey, or just I'm interested, and I have to send the link manually to everyone or explain it to everyone.
I've done that.
Yeah, like I can't do that myself with that many. But when you're just starting out, like you don't have that many.
Yeah.
So you don't need all the mini chat and this and that. You just need to put some effort into it. But I
was basically kind of diving into like the tactics of how you started selling this course, because you basically said that you just started documenting your lifestyle of eating healthy, working out.
I got those.
That kind of thing. So how did that actually sell courses?
I do it. So I was talking before about like I try webinar. I do webinars also.
Yeah. Webinars and stuff.
All of the traditional marketing methods, they can help at scale. I don't like doing a bunch of complicated stuff. I like to keep it pretty simple for the most part. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to the marketing and I lost it. No, just got it back. Okay. Like for a very long time, because I've been documenting my journey for years, when I post on Instagram or I post on YouTube, I wanted it to be perfect. Any feed post, any story, I want it to be fit in. I want it to be good. Like they need to see my watch. They need to see my cars. They need to see this. Like that's
Flexing.
yeah, like that's important, and just like the aesthetic. And doing that, like I could post a story and it'll get a ton of views, but there's no real substance. Like if I did not post any stories for the next 24 hours, so there's nothing on my Instagram stories, and then the next one I post is like something with a watch or a car or whatever, like one of those types of things.
Yeah.
It'll get the most views I ever had on an Instagram story. But instead, I post all the time, every day, just like what I'm doing. It's not as much of like I throw in the bits and pieces of my past, where I am now, to put that in perspective. But it's more so just showing the daily habits of who I am as a person, what I do, what my thoughts are, what my beliefs are. If I have any thought of wanting to post something, I just post it. And because of that, I get way less views than if I just post one cool thing a day. But the people that do keep up with all those stories every day are people that are more attached to me. We actually have more of a relationship, and in return, they trust me more and will, take an action if it's a call to action for the course or whatever. But like right now, I don't do many call to actions on my stories. It's like I have resource links and things available. Like people just see it and they want more, so they look for it and they find it.
Got it. So if you were to kind of like put that as a tactic that somebody could copy, essentially what you're saying is you've built such a relationship with your audience by just constantly posting and like being a person instead of being a influencer, so to speak, that at a certain point they know, like, and trust you so much that no matter what you're selling, they'll buy it.
Bro, it's like if you go on your Instagram right now and there's someone you follow that you like, and they just post one story and it's something dope.
Yeah.
Even if you love it, you're going to forget about it 30 seconds later. You're never going to think about that story again.
100%.
But when I'm posting everything I'm doing and just different thoughts and this just happened or I'm with this person doing this, people not only see the consistency, but it's like you're putting out a tray, like a buffet of like all these different things you're doing, and you're going to, connect with one thing out of 10 or 20 or 50 stories that like you're really going to remember, and you're going to remember that person and tie that to something they said or something they posted. And that's kind of the way I go about it. Now, this is like obviously more like personal brand approach.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, but that's, in my eyes, that's the right way to do it, because that's what's working for me, and that's the type of people I look up to do the same thing.
Got it. So the personal brand is like, if you were to kind of distill $0 to $1 million in course sales, it's really been the personal brand that has driven most of that, or all of it.
Yeah, I mean, DDM, it's me. Like I made this off of a personal skill set and experience that I've had.
Yeah.
And it's a product with my face. I made the videos, so it's not a digital drop shipping store. It's more of it's a skill set I have, and I made a product about it. But right now, I don't know how many of you watching this have seen my stuff in the past. I know some of the drop shipping community has, but like back then, I used to consider, like in 2017, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like this is like my peak. Like I'm getting so much followers and views, and like this is incredible. And then every year after that, I just felt like it was like less and less, until like over the last year, I'm like, now is like I have so many new people paying attention to me, and it's just who I am. It's a personal brand. It's just what I'm doing every day, doing consistently. Like I'm just trying to be the person that I always look up to. Like when I was younger, wanted to get into this, like people that are in shape, people that are rich, people that have cool shit, they post it, and they are good people. Like they do good for others, and they're transparent and consistent. That's what I always look up to, and I struggle to do that. I would say I wanted to like hit these big goals, these massive goals. Like, yeah, I want to make $1 million this year, or $2 million, or I want to make 10 million next year.
Yeah.
But deep down, I know I would never hit it, because I didn't believe that I could actually hit that, because I knew that deep down the actions I was taking and the habits that I had were very limiting. Those were not the things that were going to get me there. So I would say these things, but I knew I wasn't really backing it up. Because of that, they never happened.
Right.
Now I know exactly what to do.
Interesting. So it sounds like a lot of your success is built more on like the fundamentals of who you are as a person, sticking with your habits and having that like rock solid confidence in yourself, as opposed to like, oh, I did a webinar or I did a mini chat flow. Like you're saying that stuff matters less. And what people should more so focus on is like the core fundamentals of just being a good human being.
Yeah, especially if you're a beginner. Now, it's not even as much of being a good human being as it is just not being selfish as to if you've done something cool and you're making a course about that or you're sharing that, share it. Like talk your shit, put the stuff out there. You owe it. If you're very successful, like if someone very successful is wanting to tell someone who's not very successful, someone that asks them for a piece of advice, like they're not feeling like, oh, I shouldn't give them a piece of advice, like because they're gonna, like whatever, like nothing's good gonna come out of it. But to me, it's just conscious congruence. I have to give a shout out to Wes Watson for that, because I didn't understand really what it was that I was doing as I was transforming from being this person with a ton of bad habits and vices and overweight to getting in shape. Once that happened, I never really understood how that actually worked, like deep down, until he explained to me the concept of conscious congruence, where it's just simply knowing that you're doing exactly what you know you should be doing. If I'm going to have dinner right after this, I got two options. I could eat this plate and I could eat this plate. This one I know is going to serve me. It's going to serve my goals and who I want to be tomorrow, the next week, the next year. This one over here it's going to taste good right now, but I know that it's going to hurt me. I'm going to feel like shit soon, the next day, and it's not going to do anything good for me. If I consciously know that and still go for the bad plate just because I want it now, then I'm not following conscious congruence. And because of that, it makes everything else harder. And when you do that enough, it becomes just this bad cycle that you're stuck in. And I had to realize that if I wanted to succeed, even in business, I have to follow this in every daily habit, even such as eating, like just sacrificing what I want right now for what I want most.
There's another way that I've heard somebody else put it. Sabri Subi says, killing your inner bitch. And so basically everyone has two personalities inside of them. You have like the real you, and then you have your inner bitch, right? And whenever that voice in your head is like, oh, you don't have to work the extra hour. Oh, we can skip the gym today. We went hard yesterday. We're sore. Or, I just want an extra cookie. That's basically the inner bitch. And so exactly what you're saying with the conscious congruence, whenever your inner bitch is talking, you just got to grab it by the throat and just show it who's boss. That's the way he says it, basically. But I like both different approaches of looking at it, but it's basically the exact same concept. My point is, like, it seems like every successful person has the same concept mastered. They just refer to it as a different thing.
Yeah. And people will ask you, like, how do you do that? But when you do it enough, it just becomes a habit. Just like a bad habit becomes a habit just because you do it a certain amount of times. It doesn't start as a habit. Yeah. You just did something bad. And then you did it so many times in a row that it actually became a habit. And now you're stuck in a very bad position that you have to get out of. But how do you change it? You do a good thing one time, then that turns into a habit, and then it's a good habit.
Yeah, that's very true. So I want to kind of take this in a slightly different direction for a second. I see a smile cracking on your face because I think you know what I'm about to ask you.
I don't.
Really?
No.
Well, for people that are watching this that maybe have a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to courses, right? People have seen the Tai Lopez's of the world, the Kevin Davids. There's been a lot of people that have made a lot of money selling courses, and there's also been a lot of people that have made money selling courses, but maybe not in the most ethical way, right? So a lot of people will think like, hey, you're selling this course, you've made so much money, why not just do a digital drop shipping store yourself, stay in the shadows, make money instead of teaching people how to do it? Like, if it's so good, why would you sell the secrets instead of just do it yourself?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to make a ton more money continuing to do this. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day, but I understand where the bad taste in people's mouths come from, because right now on the internet, so many people will sell something and say things that they haven't done. They're selling experience they don't have. They're saying things they've never done. And people can be manipulated easily. They can be lied to and they never know. And someone takes their money and it's a terrible thing. And I understand that happens a lot and it sucks. And you should definitely pay attention to like who you're learning from, make sure they have a track record. But, for like that part, I understand. But on the other side, there's people that sell courses that have done things that like maybe I don't like or I don't respect. That's fine. I don't, it has nothing to do with me. I'm focused on me.
Yeah.
And in my case, it's just, I know that everything I say I've done. The things that I teach are things that I've done. The results that I say I've gotten are results I've gotten. And all I'm doing is sharing what I've done. It's a skill set that I've amassed and something that I now share. And it's become my favorite thing in the world. Not necessarily selling the course specifically, that's going to become a byproduct, but like imagine you get to live your life every day. You just live your life. You just do what you do.
Yeah.
You post it. You talk to people all day, and you're making money at the same time. Like it's a really cool thing to be able to do. And I mean, yeah, it's very dependent. It's me. I'm the business now for this.
Yeah.
Whether it's DDM the course or anything else in the future, it's on me. But there's no better feeling than being a part of it and seeing results from other people or people that transform their lives and be able to do something. And I really try to instill in people that it's very much you become a good you can be good at anything else. You can be a good digital dropshipper. You can be a good chair maker. You can be a good anything as long as you become a good you. And my goal is just to continue to inspire people in that way, lead by example, do what I say I'm going to do, and have a lot of my students and followers do the talking for me, which to me it feels like I'm doing something right at least.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you started as buying my course.
Yeah, that's how we met. So it seems like.
Could I ask you?
Ask me.
I want to ask from your perspective.
Yeah,
because now we've known each other for over a year. You joined my course. You won a challenge giveaway thing.
Yeah.
We made a video. We met up, and then we find out we're from the same area, hometown, and we hang out, and you're doing amazing. We have like same friend group now.
Yeah.
But what is your perspective of like me? I'm this guy now that's like selling this course.
Mm-hmm.
What is your perspective? Like your own answer to the question you asked.
Like, are you a scammer or what?
No, just in
or like
what do you think about
courses in general?
Yeah,
or
like what I do.
Course. I mean, I'll say this. I think I paid you $200. I know, like, just from the people that I've met from meeting you and the relationships that I've gotten and the spider web that's come from that, I've probably 1,000x my investment or more. And I mean, I know that doesn't that's less about the course and more about you as a person. But I think speaking to you as a person says a lot about your course. If that's what you're willing to do do for one particular person, like it's a character trait that you're a giver, right? So like to provide a little bit more context, I bought Tanner's course in like 2022, summer of 2022. We won some giveaway challenge. We met up. From there, you introduced me to like this entire group of people that I then became closer friends with when I moved out to Arizona. That has turned into, I've met more people from that friend group, gone to events that I probably wouldn't have gone to or wouldn't have been invited to. My girlfriend has gotten jobs from that. So it's like more so than just like things that are little tactics or tricks that I picked up from the course, because we already had our course created. And so DDM, the reason I bought it was more so to learn how to market what we already had. So I didn't really go through the full like digital drop shipping process, point A to B. It was more like point A and a half to B.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest point of value that I've gotten was just the relationship that you and I have built, and then the relationships that I've gotten from that. So I say all that to say, like, selling, part of it is selling a course, but it's also like the investment you make is not just about, oh, what did I learn from the course? It's about all the things that come with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's an important lesson. I think, like, now for me, if I'm buying a course or paying for a coaching program or something like that, it's more so to build the relationship with that person individually, because that opens many other doors. And I think if you're buying a course, you could use that same approach. Like, I have students that come into my program and they learn some things, but they show me they're putting in effort. They ask questions after they try something and to get feedback and how to change that situation and grow. And when they keep doing that, I post them, then they're hopping on our calls, asking questions, we're chatting, and then they hit me up if they have a question or they need something. And, you know, I'm all ears and I'm happy to open different doors. Like, you become its friend and family. I mean, of course, like, it's all different scenarios, but you build a relationship and that stems to so much more. Just like posting on social media has led to all of my closest relationships now over the years, which is crazy to think about.
I feel like this interview is turning more into a pitch to start a personal brand.
Yeah, it is. We haven't talked anything about like digital drop shipping actually, but I mean, I think that's okay. It's personal brand sounds kind of scary, I think, to some people. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I have to get someone to edit my reels, and I gotta do all this. I gotta make a product. But you already have a personal brand. If you're watching this, if you have a YouTube, if you have an Instagram, you already have a personal brand. Like, if you have 500 followers,
because you're not posting on it.
Yeah, if you have 500 followers and it's your people that you've grown up with in your hometown, like, you still have that brand. A lot of people think, oh, I got to go make a new account. That's something I really regret. Like, I have like 3 old Instagram accounts from when I was like really, really young. And I would just like, oh, I want to do something new. Like, I want to like reinvent me in a way. I have an idea for something I want to do, but I'm kind of scared for everybody else to see it. I just don't care what everybody else thought.
Yeah.
But now I wish like I could go and have that all on just one feed, like all of my oldest posts down, like 2014 or whatever.
Like Iman's YouTube channel was like 16.
Yeah, like your personal brand is just what you already have. It's just, and the cool thing to think about too, you get to decide exactly who you want to be, like how you want to be perceived. As long as you only say things, you've done things that you've actually done, keep your word. I mean, that's the most important part. And yeah, you could present yourself as like the tuxedo man. You could present yourself as the beard, no shirt man that runs businesses from his laptop in the Caribbean.
Live a king. You
could be, you could do whatever you want and build a brand off of that. A personal brand is just being you, sharing the content, and you're going to change as a person. I've changed many times as a person as I've posted over the years. And the goal is for it to be like some type of growth, at least in like some area. Yeah. And people can see that.
Okay. So because I'm hearing a lot about personal brand, it sounds like basically the whole course business like wouldn't exist if there was no personal brand.
For me.
Yeah, for you, right. But that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, other people get very businessy, and they have salespeople and a sales team, and
I love the term businessy. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, everything is very businessy, where it's very focused on the SOPs and this and that, and they maybe have their place. I mean, they do for some businesses. It's kind of like what I think of like college degree. There's certain degrees that are needed. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a dentist, you're going to need to go to college, university, get these degrees. I feel like it's kind of the same way. Like certain businesses, they need that. They need the SOPs and the setters and the sales calls and all that. But for me, what I do, I'm sharing my life, what I'm doing every day.
It's a lifestyle business.
Being consistent.
Very much a lifestyle business.
People are buying into me more than they are the product most times. Mm-hmm. A good product helps, but people are buying me. The more people that know about me, the better I become. And I never miss. Snowball just gets bigger and bigger.
I'm inspired. So if I'm a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid watching this, what's the fastest way for me to get to a point where I'm making like good money online? And I mean, obviously we could define what good money is, but let's just say 10K a month. Would you say start a personal brand like from the get-go, or do they need to prove themselves in some way before they start? Or like, what's the TAN plan playbook if I'm starting from ground zero?
Yeah, the playbook I would say is, if I could tell myself like at a very younger age, would be right now, if you're watching this at this point and you have to have some type of desire to want to do something, the first step is like when you're that age, most people that age struggle with their self-confidence. You know, it's a time you're changing like physically and your age, you're becoming older, but also mentally. Maybe you're in middle school or beginning of high school, and a lot of the pressure is around you
Sure.
of, oh, like here's the cool group, here's the not cool group. I'm kind of
You
like,
care what people think.
you care what people think.
For sure.
So the first thing I would tell you to do is pick up your phone, set it up, or just film a little selfie video and just talk to yourself. Like, this is a skill set. Talking to your phone, talking to yourself, say, hey, my name is Tanner. Right now I'm 22. I'm in school, but I want to do this. Like, you'll find yourself just talking to the phone for like 5-10 minutes. And this is something that you'll do and you'll look back on later and be like, oh my gosh, I was terrible at like talking to the phone. But you do this, one, so you can just kind of break this instant barrier of like that it's weird to talk to the phone. And two, you can look back at it on the future and like kind of have a laugh at it, and it's something that's documented. But you do that, and you also vocalize the things that you actually want to do, like the things that you're thinking about doing in the future, things that you want to accomplish, because it's easy for things to get lost in the head when you're just only thinking about it. You never put a pen on paper, or you never actually speak it. But it becomes more real if you speak it and you have it as a recording and can watch it over or post it somewhere. And then from there, it's just, you got to figure out, you said, oh, I want to make $10,000 in a month. Okay, well, we could do the math and say, okay, I need to make $333 per day, but there's more to it than that. Like, what's stopping me? Okay, I don't have a vehicle. I don't have like a business to actually make the money. Okay, why don't I have a business? Oh, I don't know what to start. Okay, what am I good at? What are the options? And you can just kind of reverse engineer that. And you'll find that there's certain things that you aren't good at, especially if you're very young. You're not going to be good at many things. You may think you are, but you're not. And that's when you can start to really just chisel away at those things that you need to be good at to start a business. And more importantly, risk everything as many times as you can. It sounds a little bit like a lottery, but if you do this, you will have something that works out, because you risk everything like I used to do. 15, 16 years old, lose it all the money, $1,000, whatever it is, just left as a normal kid, living at his parents' house in high school, and nobody knows except for me. I just had a lesson. Now what am I going to do next? And now we're here.
Just risk it all and start a personal brand?
You don't need to start a personal brand. You have to find something that you want. There's kids I've met as I was starting in high school that were more into lawn mowing and building that kind of business. For me, I always wanted to do something online. I was always like this anonymous guy building Instagram pages.
Well, let's say they want to be like you. Let's say they're watching this, they're like, holy shit, that sounds like the life. Film everything, post whatever, like, $1 billion in courses in a year. Like, to me, that sounds fucking awesome. So like, if I'm 16 years old watching this, I'm like, yo, how do I do that?
It is awesome, but you have to understand that result right now, which is even just like it's a small amount relative to what's coming in the future,
100%.
is still, it's an accumulation of all the years past, all the experience, all the ups and downs. Like, I've been working to make money since I was 13 years old in all these different ways.
Yeah.
So you just can't expect that the world just owes you because I have a goal and I just took one step that now the world owes me. You really have to go into it saying, I owe the world. I have to go and put myself out there and do as much as I possibly can, and just understand that a result may not come right now, but in the future, there's a chance it will. And I think that's what entrepreneurship is. We're not working right now for a guaranteed $20 for our hour. We're doing something right now in hopes that this 1 hour input can output thousands of dollars a day.
Yeah.
Later on, that's kind of what we're hoping for. We do enough inputs, that the outputs outweigh it.
That's fire. So basically just figure out what you're good at, some kind of skill set, and just start taking steps. Or
Yeah,
what would you like
I mean, I
to-
can't tell you like a specific business model because you're gonna attach to different things. Like I teach digital dropshipping, selling digital products online anonymously, where you identify a pain point problem, target audience, say like if it's women over 35, they want to lose some fat around their belly and they don't know what to eat. Maybe I could provide digital cookbooks and recipes and a little tracker on Notion for them to keep up with to solve that problem. It cost me $100 to make. Okay, now I can sell it over and over for 20 bucks, 50 bucks. And that's a cool business model to me, but that's not what everybody's going to do. So you need to research things, see what you like, try something that catches your attention, but don't have the shiny object syndrome. It's very easy to fail at something or just get started in something and it gets kind of hard. And you're like, oh, Tim over here said drop shipping chairs from China is high ticket chairs is way better.
Yeah.
And he's really killing it, it looks like. So I'm going to try that. It's one of my biggest things I did in the past. I knew how to get from point A to point B. So I just kept doing that over and over, trying new stores and new businesses instead of like going from point A to point B and then just really embracing that hard moment of how do I get from point B to point C. But once I just stuck to it, it's way better.
So how do you know how to balance that? Because devil's advocate would say like, hey, I mean, obviously I agree with you. I think you have to have some kind of you have to restrict yourself against shiny ball syndrome. But like for someone that's watching this, it's like, okay, cool, digital dropshipping. But then I'm also like, let's say they're doing something else. How do they decide which one to pick? And if they're doing something that's not working, how do you know when it's, oh, I'm doing shiny ball syndrome and I'm jumping to the other thing versus like, I just need to double down on the first thing that I try?
It's a good question. And I think you shouldn't be doing multiple things at once to begin with. You should be just doing one at a time.
So does
Especially
that
if you're
mean
new.
the first thing you do, you just go all in on?
You need to. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no other way, especially as a beginner. Like, there's no way it's going to work out. Like, you have to have full conviction that it's going to work, and the only way you're going to have that conviction is by actually doing the work and putting in the actions. Like, you'll know if you're not doing enough. And as far as it goes of knowing when's the point to stop or when to move on to the next thing is, like, usually what it is people, they stop learning or they don't have something they're working towards. They're just doing something. Like, I could be posting a YouTube video every day, but if I don't really have anything attached to it, like, how do I know what my metric of success is? I don't know if it's a video getting more than 10,000 views or if it's getting a sale. Like, I have no metric of success. So you need to have some type of metric of success. And oftentimes for you starting out as a business, it's not a sale at the beginning. It's, okay, I need to make a store. I need to choose the niche and the product, and I need to start marketing. And then when I get to marketing, okay, the next step after that, I want to make a sale. That would be the next goal. So am I marketing? Am I doing all that I can? Am I posting once a day? Am I doing these things? I think your actions can be used as metrics of success because that's the only thing we can guarantee. We can't guarantee any outcome, but we can guarantee what actions we do put in.
Got it. That makes sense. So it's like you need to be more selective about the thing you pick because you do have to just do one thing and give it your all. So you have to be selective about the one thing that you do.
Yeah. And the truth hurts, but the truth is not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur. That's the reason why most businesses fail. Most businesses never make it. Most people aren't successful entrepreneurs, but a lot of people want to be is because most people really, they don't have the balls. As cheesy as it sounds, they really don't have what it takes. They fold under pressure. And I found that usually why that happens for people that I see that get some results and then something happens and they just fold or they make progress and then they give up is typically because they have this habit of breaking promises to themselves. And that goes into their businesses as well, where, they tell themselves, oh, I'm going to do this tomorrow, and they don't do it. And, things that happen in your personal life will happen in your business life too. That's a big word.
It's fire. It's definitely true. So biggest takeaways from this, build your internal self first. Whatever business problems that you have are probably a reflection of personal problems. Build the personal brand as early as possible and then just pick one thing and stick with it. Do you think that's a good way to sum it up? Is there anything you add, take away?
Yeah, it's just summing it up there at the last point is accountability. You have to understand exactly where you are right now, no matter your external circumstances, because everyone's different. It's because of you. We get to decide. For a long time, I very much had a lot of external pressure that I accepted from other people on how I lived my life. And until I changed that, I mean, it was harder. So take accountability for where you're at. If you're blaming someone else, which is easy to do, it's not helping anything. It's not helping you. So take accountability.
I love it. Well, Tanner, appreciate you jumping on, man. For people that are watching this that want to learn more about DDM or follow your personal brand, obviously you've hyped it up quite a bit. Where do they find that?
Yeah, I mean, the best point if you're coming from this interview right now would just be to my Instagram at Digital Dropshippers. I post there every day, just document my stuff on stories, etc. And from there, you'll either like me or you'll hate me. And
Hopefully you'll like it.
if you like me, then you'll look for more and you'll see how, all my program and all that works. If you hate me, it's probably something internal that is just like,
It's a personal problem.
it's a personal problem that's reflected like, dang, this guy's so confident he's posting all this stuff. Like, I could never do that. That's usually what it is.
Oh, 100%.
Bro, I mean, we could keep going on forever. I used to have the same thing. Like, but now I understand, like, if I'm looking at Tim's stories and he posts something and I see him as a successful person in a way, and I feel like kind of like thrown off by something maybe he posts, I really think, and I've become aware, like, why am I feeling that way? Oh, it's because he was standing there in front of 100 people selling something. I don't have the confidence to do that. I think that's what the problem is. And like, I had to start becoming aware of these things to really, really accept why I was the way I was, and that I didn't have to be that way forever. I could change these things. But yeah, Instagram.
Guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. Real quick, before you click off, I have a video for you I think you're going to love. If you're 16 years old watching this, if you're not, don't watch the video. But if you're 16, I put together a 20-minute breakdown that'll show you how to make 100 grand in the next 2 years. It's literally exactly step-by-step everything I did to go from broke 16-year-old, 18-year-old who bought a house with 300 grand. Click this video right here, watch it, check it out. Let me know what you think. See you guys in the next one. Peace.